I mean, you got to tackle them as they come. And the first thing is to get them onto a roster. So that's another victory for Colin Kaepernick, which hopefully the NFL is thinking will be a victory for them. But let's just, it's all over the place. The NFL does settle. NFL has lost cases, as a matter of fact. If you go back to why we were free agents in the first place, you got to go back to Reggie White. You go back to Hardy Nickerson. Tom Brady was even offered a settlement. The devil's in the details. Tom Brady thought he was going to win that case. He said, I don't want your settlement. I'm going all the way. And then that accountant called Tom Brady and said, bruh, you know who you're dealing with, and you just exhaust yourself, not in necessarily financially, but you get tired.
They can stall you out.
Oh, man, you get tired of the lawyer fees. You're paying $500,000 every other month.
See, but with Tom Brady, it should have been a union. It should have been free.
Right, but I'm just saying, Tom Brady was offered a settlement. NFL does this at times. Here's the thing about it. Colin Kaepernick won in his eyes. He won something from the NFL because it's a settlement. You compromise on your side, they compromise on their side. He made them compromise. I don't know if that's a win, but he made Big Bank compromise. You know why? Because he caught Big Bank with their pants down. The NBA, Major League Baseball, all have a policy in place. You cannot sit or kneel for the anthem. Did the NFL have one in place? No. So Colin Kaepernick knew he had something on them. And then, through that expose of deposition, you're going to be able to get more than you even wanted in that. So, yeah, he had something there. But here's what Colin Kaepernick gave up. And this is where I felt the sting. You have shirts out there. I'm with Cap. On the small of the shirt, it says, know your rights. When you settle and when you sign an NDA, you give up your first right, which is the freedom of speech. You can no longer speak on that.
But we knew when he filed this suit.
And to me, that's interesting.
I see on social, when he filed this suit, it was about money from the get-go.
Oh, I get it.
Everybody knew that, so people, oh, he sold it. Why did he sell out? You filed this suit because it's about money, because they're withholding wages. Anybody in their right, for Colin Kaepernick to do what he did, he gave up his livelihood for something he believed in, for the betterment of his people. And for me, you know this.
There's some disagreement there.
There's very few people that would have done that.
There's
very few that would have done what he did.
TJ, there's some disagreement. You can have that opinion, and the people that have that opinion, that he did it for the betterment of his people. There is disagreement. There are people like me that believe he threw a tantrum because he lost his starting job and things weren't going well in San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick, like a lot of people.
So he threw a silent tantrum. Because he didn't say much, he nailed it.
He didn't say much because there's no substance backing him. Again, this is why I keep trying to explain to people about the difference between him and Muhammad Ali. When you're backed by Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam, there's some substance underneath you, and that's why you could never silence Muhammad Ali. Kaepernick is standing on Twitter. And again, that's not much substance. And so that's why he's been quiet. He can't every time he's tried to explain his position, he'll throw on a Fidel Castro T-shirt. He'll throw on some pig socks. He always dirties up his message because, again, his message isn't based in much other than he was mad. He went to a very dark place, and a bunch of things have spun out of control, and people will be upset with me for saying it or won't understand it, but I actually think Roger Goodell, let's take Goodell, just the NFL family in general, there is some sympathy for Colin Kaepernick. I think people that actually know Colin Kaepernick have great sympathy for him. He got involved in something way bigger than he ever intended, and it forced him to make some decisions that he regrets. He can't even say it, and that's why this NDA actually works for him as well.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps looking at the NFL's protecting itself. Now, I don't think the NFL has much to protect itself from.
I mean, if he got a couple years' salary and he does get an opportunity to play, it's a win-win for both. It's a win for the NFL. It's a win for Colin Kaepernick if he gets this opportunity. And I think he was supposed to make $16 million in 2016 and 2017. If he gets around $40 million, it's a win-win for both.
Okay, here's the thing. I've been on record. Ron Jaworski went there, and I co-signed it. Maybe this was 3-4 years ago. That Colin Kaepernick was the most talented quarterback in the NFL. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. People killed me for saying that.
I remember that.
I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to tell you how much I love Kaepernick. I knew Kaepernick the person. I had people in the 49ers organization that work with him daily. I even got someone hired in the organization, and they told me a lot of intel, and I'm going to just air it out. So after I say that, you know, I'm bunkered in. I'm like, damn, y'all don't like Cap as much as I do? Kaepernick in his last 2 years, these were his numbers. In terms of 35 capable eligible quarterbacks, he was 34th in win percentage, 32nd in completion percentage, and 31st in QB.
But we all all know if you don't have players around. And
I get it. You
gotta have a team.
I am not, dog. I can't be dissing Cap because I was the one who loved him the most. And then in those 2 years, he knows this more than anybody. And then in those 2 years, remember he got benched for throwing 4 yards in 3 quarters?
I remember that.
Okay. He goes into that offseason. You know what happened? 3, 4 surgeries, loses a ton of weight. And then this is his last year. He gets benched because he's not ready for all the offseason stuff, whatever. And then he opts out of a contract in part because they said, we're going to cut you regardless.
Yes.
So now you're in a position, you know this. This is the leverage game now. Wherever you go, you ain't going to get as much, right? Let's be real.
If you opt him out, more than likely.
Right.
Yes.
So, but then he went on the open market and was expecting starting quarterback money. So that's why I think the first misplay was. Now, the intel told me during the moments when he was protesting at first and nobody knew, it wasn't a protest for the cause. Initially, it was, that's how y'all gonna play y'all franchise quarterback? I'm sitting on the bench during pregame. And then that turned into a couple of weeks. Finally, someone said, what are you doing on the bench during the pregame national anthem? Then that mapped on to a cause which we're all sympathetic about. I'm from it, you're from it, he's for it. Respect. And so I just was waiting peacefully on the sidelines, hoping that this will all materialize and make sense when you're trying to live a dual existence in terms of what you want as a player, but what you want as an activist. Now, Jim Brown, take shots at Jim Brown all you want, but he's an athlete activist who warned us. You can't do both, bruh. I'm telling you, it's going to come to a place where you're going to have to sell it. You're going to have to get paid for it. And then where's the cause in that? Colin Kaepernick easily could donate his time, energy to the cause with this settlement and everything else. I'm not dissing Kaepernick like that. But I am going to say, like Teddy Bruschi and many others are going out there publicly saying, if you really had him, why didn't you get him? And that's the only question I have is, if you had him, why didn't you get him? Or you didn't have him,
because it was about money. And he probably got the amount of money he was looking for thrown at him. I'm done.
I get it.
That's your opinion.
I get it.
I disagree with it. I'll add this, Marcellus, and it's all out there in writing, Twitter, in columns. When Kaepernick was rolling, it was me, you, and Jaworski. This morning went back and looked at what I wrote and read in 2012 and 2013. Loved Kaepernick. He fell off a cliff because of injuries, circumstance.
And it goes
Jim
coaching. That's the thing.
It goes
coaching matters in the team around him.
No question.
Oh, yeah, I'm all in.
But trust me, where Marcellus just went in terms of where this really started and what this really was about, I've stood on that from day one, and I've never wavered from it. Because, again, I know people that were on that staff and know Colin Kaepernick. And, again, he's never been about what he's been forced to try to be about. And he finally, I hope, is like, let me go back to what I'm really good at.
So if that's the case, Jason, once all this shakes out, he's gonna be a fraud, because you got to continue to do this.
Well,
you got to continue. You have to. If you don't, it's like, where does he go from here?
It doesn't take much to satisfy the public, though.
Yeah.
All he has to do is give out some charitable donations. How many times have you heard people, oh, well, he gave this amount of money, he gave that amount of money. Clearly, he's down for the cause. Hey, man, if you have a lot of money, it's not stupid to give money to charity. It's a good tax write-off. He's not the only one. A lot of people do it very privately and quietly. I have more respect for that than the people that do it publicly for, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, and just for my last point, I was rallying for Colin Kaepernick in the respect that he needed the fuel from those who are from it, those who are disenfranchised, those who are voiceless, powerless, and that's my origin. So I was like, hell yeah. And I'm not going to get into the fraud angle of it, but I will point out issues. And Colin Kaepernick pointed out a lot of issues in our country. And I'm pointing out some issues with Colin Kaepernick in terms of him being the leader of this cause. Why is he the leader of this cause? He's not for me. No one is for me. I donate my time, my energy, my talents, and I'm not a leader. I just do it, and I hope I can hopefully